going from 4 deals to 9 deals, right?
Yeah.
We've spoken about this before. A lot of things fall through the cracks. A lot. So that's where, scaling is good, but you have to have the right systems and processes in place. You're not gonna have those as you're scaling, but you need to learn from those mistakes as you're scaling. So that's what we've done. So going into this year, we know, okay, we're gonna scale, but the number one mistake that we made was putting I don't wanna say all of our eggs, but a lot of our eggs with one contractor, right? To the point where we don't even work with him anymore, right? Which is unfortunate, and it's because we stretched him too thin. But at the same time, he didn't have to take all the work either, right? Yeah. So it's like it's a double-edged sword. It's it's a two-way street. We're gonna give you the business, but if you can't take it, don't take it. But he ended up taking it, and that delayed a lot of our projects as well. But we worked with him primarily because we had a long-standing relationship. His quality of work was good, it was decent, and the pricing was very, very good. Gotcha. Like, it was like very good pricing. But you also get what you pay for. So when you give a GC a lot of work and you're spreading them too thin, if their quality of work is decent, it's going to start going down as you give them more and more deals, right? So that's what started happening. So that's actually like the number one thing I would recommend is if you're gonna scale, try working with more than one contractor. Mm-hmm. So now at this point we were working with 3, but now we're not working with that individual anymore. So now we have 2 contractors that we work with now.
Got you.
And that's helped us tremendously.
Yeah.
So
do
that's
they know that you have another contractor you work with?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, because they go to the properties.
I was saying that's perfect.
Yeah,
too,
no,
right?
absolutely. So here's the thing. So it's like we've learned working with several different contractors, like their bandwidth, like how big is your crew will determine how much work you can actually do, but how much other jobs you have going on as well. So one contractor, he has a pretty decent sized crew, including himself. He's probably like 7 or 8 deep, right? And then we have another GC, including himself, 4 in total. You see what I mean? So it's like, I know who I can go with, but I also know, okay, the type of flip or type of renovation I want to go with, I want to do, who do I go to with when it comes to those? Yeah. But we're also looking to work with other GCs as well, because we don't want to fall back into that same trap where we scale, like now we go from 9 deals in 1 year to, maybe double 18. Yeah. We're still using the same GCs. That's not going to work either. So we got to add another 2, maybe another 3, just to be safe. That way we can sleep better at night knowing that deadlines are being hit. And if we're not hitting deadlines, we're not like, okay, 2-3 months overdue. You know what I mean? Because sometimes deadlines you won't hit them, but if you're supposed to be finished today, but you finish a week or 2 after, it sucks, but it's better than 2-3 months after.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's a great point that you're making too. Like, if you're looking to scale the business, the flipping business, it's not just kind of getting more deals. It's also the back end of it.
Absolutely.
Right? Having the support team to be able to sustain having those flips being done efficiently. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just going to fall apart.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And that's we got to the point where that one particular GC, once we had to let him go, unfortunately, we had to bring in those 2 GCs to now go finish those projects for us. Cost us more, but now one of them we just listed a couple days ago, and the other one is going to get listed in another 2 to 3 weeks. So whereas with the other guy, we probably would be another month out. So that's one thing that I would highly recommend. That's one of like the major challenges that we had in going from just 4 deals to then 9, double the amount.
Any recommendations for the listeners, like finding GCs? What are some of the tips that you have?
So the first GC, the one that we ended up not working with after 2 years, actually, we worked with him for 2 years. We found them in Home Depot. So I forget, I think I probably heard it in Bigger Pockets. Yeah. Like going there at like 5-6 in the morning. I actually did that. I went there. It's funny. So I went there. Our first like big renovation was a 2-family in Passaic, in October of 2018. Yeah, September of 2018. We bought the property and then started renovating October. So I went to Home Depot a couple weeks before that, and I didn't introduce myself to GCs. I literally saw the vans coming up, took pictures. And then once that house was vacant, I had a whole bunch of them come. I gave them a scope of work. This is what I want done. And I had like an open house. So I had one GC after another. I must have had like 5 GCs, 6 GCs. And out of the 5 or 6, I only got like 3 or 4 bids. One of the bids came from that GC. But me going into a brand new renovation, that was the biggest renovation we've done. That was like when it was all said and it was like a $70,000 renovation. Up until that point, we were doing like 10, 15 little turnovers. That was it, So we were like, okay, his bid came in, I was like, okay, this has to be like at least 60 to 70. His bid came in at like 35. I said, well, wait a second. I should have gone with him. I didn't go with him though. I didn't because that scared me. I was like, because I've heard horror stories in the past where like a GC will underbid you, get in there, and then that number starts increasing. Change order after change order, and then you're at 70 out of nowhere. Yeah. So I was like, no, I'm not going to go with you. I ended up going with this other GC, who was similar, like close to where we needed to be, but with some overages, we ended up hitting 70. But we ended up firing him. That was the first time we had a contractor issue. Paid him too much at the beginning, had a very little balance at the end, and he bounced. He said peace.
Let's talk about that. Talk about how you structure the payments, because that's really key. Like, how do you stay protected at the same time while working with someone new that you haven't used before?
Absolutely. So now we break it up in 4 payments. So 25, 25, 25. That's or 25, 25, 25, 25. With the other GC that we worked with for 2 years, we had a very interesting, because we were giving him so much volume, he was at the point where he would just start a project for us and like 2-3 weeks later then ask for a payment. Because we had so much trust in each other that it wasn't an issue. But with our GCs, because since we're more structured now, we're just 25, 25, 25, 25. And there's going to be a big lump sum at the very end. And you're going to have to work for that. And then we're going to do a final walkthrough. I'm going to blue tape everything. And if I have to blue tape anything, you're still not going to get your final payment. And once everything is corrected, we're going to do one more final walkthrough. And then I'm going to release that payment to you. That's how we do it now. Yeah. But with that GC, we must have owed him maybe like $3,000, $4,000 at the very end of a $70,000 job. Dude's coming at me with excuses. This guy had like a fleet of vans. My van is in the shop. I was like, dude, you have like 5 other vans. Why can't you come to this and just finish up what you had to do? So we had to fire him, ended up going with another GC. But we ended up working with that other GC that we ended up firing after 2 years, because we had other projects. He ended up coming in closer to where we were. And then, the rest was history. We did a lot of work together at that point. But that's how we found that GC. The 2 GCs that we're working with now came from referrals, actually. And they're on Instagram, so you can see their quality of work. Yeah. So, we would read, OT was our mentor, our realtor. He was the one that introduced us to them. So he made the introduction, we met them, we walked some of their flips, some of their projects that they have going on, saw the quality of work, and then the rest was history from there.